This is like a diamond that has, 50,000 different edges and facets that are all equally as important, all equally as interesting, and, surrounded by this amazing geological, natural, and indigenous history that come together to make this place. It's almost whispers that we still have on the landscape. So we have very few opportunities to learn about life here hundreds and thousands of years ago. So if we can't continue to protect the resources and educate the public why, then we'll never be able to get them back. And if continually historic and archaeological sites sustain damage here, it's what you imagine, and that they will be gone forever. All right, folks, is everybody close in this area? I think everybody's pretty close. Excellent. Thank you guys for coming. It's so exciting to have all of you. We have some friends, I think, that are still stuck up by the building, so we'll try to coax them down this way, more of our Girl Scouts. So we're gonna take a nice little hike. We can stop and talk about anything you guys are interested in. If you wanna know more about plants, animals, history, geology, filming, anything in between, just raise your hands, holler at us, let us know. My name is Sarah Brewer, and I'm the Regional Park Superintendent for the beautiful Vasquez Rocks Natural Area. I have worked here for about a little over 8 years now and have been volunteering here, I think, since I was 6 is when I became a youth volunteer. This place, I feel like, is my beginning, middle, end. It's all of it. I have this really vivid memory of being the sweep at the end of the twilight hikes my dad would do. And I don't know if they were called that, if they were called sunset hikes. It was always my favorite program because my dad was an awesome, awesome speaker. I just remember being able to watch him with a group of people in front of him and just being in awe of that and being like, God, this is the best place in the whole world. Like, I want to be here forever. I don't have this urge to leave it ever. Beetle patrol will continue. And again, the rocks are just like these gentle hands. I kind of picture this big basket that holds all of this amazing life. It's just very magnetic, which is why I think so many people love to come here and just kind of sit and watch, because it's really spectacular here.
My name is Ashley Verde, and I am a recreation service supervisor. I met Sarah when she called me for an interview if I was interested in the position, and I said sure. I've worked here with her since August 22nd. I still remember the date of 2022. I told myself, come to natural areas and change what you've been doing for 21 and a half years with sports and kids and youth and senior citizens, and do the last 26 years of your career protecting vegetation and helping out wildlife. And here I am. It's a beautiful area. I mean, it's amazing when you come up here. You feel like you're away from home, but yeah, you're still a couple minutes from the city. I love that when the sun goes down, it's dark. I just love that. It's something you have to experience, and the only way we can experience that is if we keep it that way, for our future.
This is one of the more heavily visited parks in LA County parks. We assume our numbers are estimates around 250,000 people a year seems to be kind of our average. It's not unusual to have a big, vast, we're almost 1,000 acres, 945 acres, you know, large natural area park. You know, you have state parks, national parks, Forest Service. You have all of these entities that have these large tracts of land that they preserve. So that our functions there are not really unique. A lot of places have animal ambassadors. But what makes ours unique is that we have this combination of geology and this really heavy film use.
Follow the 77th Bengal Lancers as they go into action again.
It's like a magnet, you know, for people who want these really beautiful, dramatic photos. We've had, you know, this really long history of film that started back when this was a homestead, so before this was an LA County park, which started in 1964. So we've been monitoring and, you know, kind of mitigating the damage from filming here for almost, next year will be 60 years that the county's been doing it. So it unfortunately has come with a cost. Things like the large parking lots down in the park, so that's one of the main areas now that we limit our filming to so that there's not impacts all over the park. And even then we do have very tight structure on what you can and can't do. We require a film monitor, so we're right there, you know, monitoring anytime that filming activity is taking place. And we also educate the film crews because they're coming from a really high pressure environment, sound stages, studios, where they're not thinking about the damages to the ground and the impacts around them. They're just, you know, working 12, 15, 16 plus hour days under a lot of pressure to get this shot. We have to be on top of it because you can see what heavy impact does. So next time if you're at the park, if you look at the park road and the parking lots, that's the cost of impact.
We get a lot of visitation here. A lot of them are tourists, which makes it a lot harder. They're not aware of the policies and procedures. So sometimes we find ourselves repeating ourselves, you know, multiple times, you know, just going over policies, rules, regulations, and enforcing it. That's the hardest part.
When impact happens here, it's semi-permanent. This field used to be kind of used for farming and homesteading, but also for filming activity. We will allow very, very minor film activity in here now. Luckily, people don't really ask to use it very much, but this is basically 60 years of this area not being highly impacted, and it still looks like this. So this is why we do what we do to protect this park, because this is what happens when the ground becomes compacted and only invasive things can grow in it. So even after decades, this soil is still really heavily affected. It should look like everything that's over that way. So that's the cost of human inhabitants at this place.
I think if we educate the people, I think we'll make a difference. All it takes is one person to change.
This is either a California ebony tarantula or a California brown tarantula. She could live like 30 plus years. So we're gonna go a little bit downhill. So just watch your step, you know, so you don't kind of slide. As any public place, you know, you have, you know, say you have 99 people who are really, really wonderful and are more gentle and mindful in their use of this site. One out of every however many, unfortunately, somewhere along the way has been failed in their understanding and appreciation for natural resources like this. It was during, I believe, 2020 to 2021, several instances of really, really large, aggressive, widespread graffiti where each incident had like 8, 9, 10 different spots that they did. One of them was about 20 feet long, 12 feet tall. Really difficult to remove with black spray paint. It is very, very difficult. It's not a brick wall that you can just blast.
It's sad. It's heartbreaking. Some people care, some people don't, some people don't know.
That is definitely one of the challenges, and sometimes you'll just see something silly, scratched on the rock or painted on.
They're just writing their last names. I love you, best friends, forever.
You just kind of take a breath and, figure out, okay, so we got to just keep on the mission of, making sure that people know why we don't want to do that, and work as hard as we can to get it off as quickly as we can. So that's one of the big challenges, unfortunately, that comes with negative impact from so much public access.
This is kind of a little morning routine that I do. Keeps me on my toes, lets me know what kind of people we're getting. I look for any unusual activity, look for any new graffiti, which I already see something here. That's new. So you can tell this one is old, and this is somewhat new, very new. So I'll look for that. We photograph it, try to put a job order, and try to get it out.
I think one of the biggest challenges to in preserving the park would be having people respect the park for its natural vegetation and natural look. And it goes back to the influencers and social media as well. And it's dangerous. They come in here and they want to film without a permit. They want to do things they're not supposed to do, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it and to get views and likes on the internet. Not only photographers, TikTok, YouTube, illegal filming, but we also have off-road vehicles coming in here. They drive down the parking lot just to get that photo, and you have an off-road vehicle doing donuts in our lower parking lot.
And they're actually going into our bedrock, into our foundation of the dirt. So this is actually very hard to fix, and we try our best to do it. But as you can see, it's just, a vehicle coming in here overnight, or early in the morning, and they're just, reckless driving.
Being defeated by it and just letting it go is not an option for us. And we have a small team, but a very mighty team of staff and volunteers that just make it happen.
If we didn't enforce policy or any enforcement here, this park would just be a Hollywood backdrop. That's all it's gonna be. People are gonna be in here, sneaking in at night, drinking, partying, and trashing the place. There's a passion behind it when we enforce policy. We're not gonna let it go. We have to enforce it, we stick to it, because we want this park to last another 100 years. Whether it's 12 hours a week removing graffiti at the rocks, okay? Whether it's 6 hours a week picking up trash and broken glass. Whether it's 15 hours a week hiking 2 hours just to cut down poison oak, just so the patrons and the PCT hikers can hike down the tunnel and have our open trails. So not only do we work our 40 hours, but half of those hours are back-breaking work. This park is beautiful, and they tell us every day, how is this park so beautiful? It's been around for hundreds of years. Yeah, it has. It's beautiful. It's because we enforce our policy. We're out there. You guys don't see what we do behind the scenes, right?
It looks the way it does and feels the way it does because of that, because of the hard work of everybody that works here, volunteers here, but also who comes here. Whatever you're coming in here with, whatever is occupying your mind, stressing you out, bothering you, we kind of remind people, hey, take your blinders off when you come here. Take it in and picture yourself being a part of this huge ecosystem that's here. We're going to do our opening and welcoming ceremony with President Rudy Ortega Jr. and Mark Villasenor with the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. So if you guys want to come.
So this area is important and significant to us because once it was a village. The word of the village was Mapapinanga. That's why it's important to bring the education, awareness, and learn how to take care of it.
I think educating the public as much as we can, I think that will help.
We always prefer to see an animal turned back to the wild because that's where they belong, right? But when that's not an option, like with Miss Jewel here who has a bad wing, they live here with us and they end up teaching thousands of people a year.
I think targeting youth is our future because we target youth, we target their brothers and sisters, you know, the teenagers, and then we target their parents as well. They're our future there. This is for them.
You know, what is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden that you'll never get to see. So that's what we try to do a lot here. I have a lot of faith in the next generations and what they'll do, and we're really open to educating all ages, even if you've been here a million times, been coming here for 40 years, or if it's your first time, we kind of treat everybody the same in the regard of reminding them gently, like, hey, this is how you can positively affect this site, or even just neutrally affect it. It's gonna be something that we all have to be accountable for, and that we can never stop. We can never lighten up on the teaching and the encouraging people that this is all important and it's up to all of us to be protective.
When you see a family coming here, whether they're young, middle-aged, or elderly, or special needs, I think that's just what we're here for, you know? Parks make you happy. It's a better life. That's what we're about. You just gotta experience, you gotta come. You gotta come to Vasquez Rocks and visit us.